The Galactic Challenge. The vast expanse of space had never felt so oppressive to Commander Zara Chen as it did in this moment. She stood at the viewport of the dilapidated space station that served as humanity's sole outpost beyond the solar system, her dark eyes fixed on the swirling cosmic dust that obscured the stars. Humanity had dreamed of this moment for centuries, first contact with alien life. But reality, as it often does, had a way of subverting expectations. "Commander," a voice crackled over the intercom. "They're here." Zara straightened her worn uniform, a relic of Earth's now-defunct space program. "Understood. I'm on my way." As she made her way through the cramped corridors of the station, Zora's mind raced. It had been 3 years since the Galactic Confederation had made itself known to Earth, and in that time, humanity had learned a harsh truth. They were cosmically insignificant. The Confederation, a loose alliance of advanced alien civilizations, had regarded Earth with a mixture of curiosity and disdain. Humans were a novelty, yes, but a primitive one. The airlock hissed open, revealing the alien delegation. Zara had seen their kind before, but the sight still sent a shiver down her spine. The Exarleans stood nearly 8 feet tall, their bodies a shimmering mass of translucent tissues and bioluminescent organs. Ambassador Calax, their leader, fixed Zara with all 4 of its eyes. "Commander Chen," Calax's voice resonated directly in Zora's mind. "We trust you have considered our proposal." Zara's jaw clenched. Proposal was a generous term for what amounted to an ultimatum. "We have, Ambassador," though I must say, the terms seem rather one-sided. Calax's body pulsed with an array of colors, amusement perhaps. "The cosmic trials are a great honor, Commander, a chance for young species to prove their worth to the Confederation. By putting our best and brightest through a series of potentially lethal challenges," Zora countered, "for the mere chance of being considered for membership." "The universe is unforgiving, Commander," Calax replied, its mental voice tinged with what might have been pity. "If humanity cannot survive the trials, how can it hope to survive among the stars?" Zara bit back a retort. The truth was, Earth needed this opportunity. Climate change, overpopulation, dwindling resources, humanity's problems were mounting. The Confederation offered solutions: advanced technology, access to other worlds. But the price of admission was steep. "Very well," Zara said at last. "Earth will participate in the cosmic trials. But I have a condition of my own." Calax's body rippled with interest. "Oh, I will be Earth's champion." The alien ambassador's surprise manifested as a burst of vivid purple across its form. "You, Commander? Surely there are younger, more physically capable candidates among your species." Zara stood her ground. "I've studied the records you provided of past trials. They test more than just physical prowess. They require leadership, adaptability, and a deep understanding of what's at stake. I possess all of these." There was a long moment of silence as Calax seemed to consider her words. Finally, it spoke. "Very well, Commander Chen. Your request is granted. You will represent Earth in the cosmic trials." As the alien delegation departed, Zara felt the weight of her decision settle upon her shoulders. She had just volunteered to carry the hopes of an entire planet into the unknown. The fate of humanity now rested in her hands. Back in her quarters, Zara began the arduous process of preparing for the trials. The Confederation had provided basic information about what to expect, but much remained shrouded in mystery. She pored over files detailing past competitions, analyzing the strengths and weaknesses of various alien species that had participated. A knock at her door interrupted her studies. "Enter," she called out. Dr. Amit Patel, the station's chief scientist, stepped inside. His usually cheerful face was etched with concern. "Zara, are you sure about this? The risks are necessary," Zara finished for him. "We both know Earth is running out of options, Amit. This might be our only shot at securing a future among the stars." Amit sighed, running a hand through his graying hair. I know. It's just the things we've learned about these trials, the physical and psychological toll they take, and that's just what we know. There's so much the Confederation isn't telling us." Zara nodded grimly. "Which is precisely why I have to do this. We need someone who understands the larger picture, someone who can make the hard calls if necessary." "And if you don't come back?" Amit asked softly. Zara met his gaze, her expression resolute. "Then Earth will know the truth about what we're up against. Better that than sending someone in blind." As the day of departure approached, news of Zora's selection spread across Earth. Reactions were mixed. Some hailed her as a hero, humanity's best hope for a brighter future. Others criticized the decision, arguing that a younger, more athletically gifted champion should have been chosen. Zara paid little attention to the debates raging on her home planet. Her focus was solely on the challenges ahead. She trained relentlessly, pushing her body to its limits, while also honing her mind through complex problem-solving exercises and meditation. On the eve of her departure, Zara stood once again at the viewport, gazing out at the stars that would soon become her battlefield. The enormity of what she was about to undertake threatened to overwhelm her. "Commander," a young voice called out. Zara turned to see Ling Xiao, the station's junior communications officer, approaching with a tablet in hand. "A message for you. From Earth." Zara took the tablet, her heart skipping a beat as she recognized the sender, her younger sister, Maya. With trembling fingers, she played the video message. Maya's face filled the screen, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "Hey, big sis. I know we haven't talked much since you took the station assignment, but I couldn't let you go without saying how proud I am of you. What you're doing for all of us, for Earth, it's incredible. Just come back to us, okay? Show those aliens what humans are made of." As the message ended, Zara felt a single tear roll down her cheek. She quickly wiped it away, squaring her shoulders. Maya's words had rekindled the fire in her heart. She wasn't just fighting for humanity's future now. She was fighting for a chance to see her sister again, to make amends for the years they'd lost. The next morning, Zara boarded the sleek alien vessel that would take her to the trials. As the airlock sealed behind her, she took one last look at the battered human space station, a symbol of both humanity's resilience and its limitations. "Ready to depart, Commander Chen?" Klax's mental voice inquired. Zara took a deep breath, steeling herself for whatever lay ahead. "Ready, Ambassador. Let's show the galaxy what humanity can do." As the ship accelerated away from Earth's orbit, Zara felt a mixture of trepidation and determination. The cosmic trials awaited, and with them, the fate of her entire species. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she would face them head-on. For Earth, for humanity, for the future they all deserved. Little did Zara know that her journey was about to take an unexpected turn, one that would challenge everything she thought she knew about the universe and humanity's place in it. Training among the stars. The alien vessel glided through the cosmos with a grace that defied Zara's understanding of physics. As she stood in the ship's observation deck, surrounded by a panoramic view of swirling galaxies and distant nebulae, the true scale of her undertaking began to sink in. "Magnificent, isn't it?" The voice, speaking in perfect English, startled Zara. She turned to find a being that could only be described as a living shadow standing beside her. Its form shifted and rippled, like smoke given sentience. "I'm Void," the being continued. "I'll be overseeing your training for the trials." Zara straightened, eyeing Void warily. "I wasn't aware I'd be receiving any training. The Confederation made it sound like we'd be going in blind." Void's form rippled in what might have been amusement. "The trials themselves, yes. But we're not monsters, Commander Chen. We provide basic preparation to ensure all participants have a fighting chance." Over the next several weeks, as their ship traversed the galaxy, Zara underwent the most grueling and bizarre training regimen of her life. Physical conditioning pushed her body to its absolute limits and beyond. She ran on treadmills that manipulated gravity, lifted weights that changed mass mid-rep, and sparred with holographic opponents that adapted to her every move. But it was the mental training that truly tested Zora's limits. Void subjected her to increasingly complex puzzles and simulations, each designed to challenge her problem-solving skills and adaptability. Faster, Void urged as Zora's fingers flew across a console, rerouting power in a simulated starship under attack. In the trials, hesitation means death. Sweat beaded on Zora's brow as she completed the simulation with seconds to spare. "Is this really necessary?" she gasped, catching her breath. "I thought the trials were about proving our worth, not just our survival skills." Void's form darkened slightly. "Commander, survival is worth. The universe is vast and often hostile. The Confederation needs to know that humanity can thrive in such an environment." As the days wore on, Zora began to notice subtle changes in herself. Her reflexes sharpened, her mind worked faster, and she found herself adapting to the alien environment with increasing ease. But with these improvements came a gnawing doubt. One evening, as much as such terms held meaning in the depths of space, Zora confronted Void. "These changes I'm experiencing, they're not natural, are they? What have you done to me?" Void's form stilled, becoming almost solid for a moment. "Perceptive, Commander. You're correct. We've been subtly enhancing your biology. Nothing drastic, mind you, just unlocking potential that already existed within your genetic code." Zora felt a surge of anger. "You had no right. I agreed to represent humanity, not become some enhanced version of myself. And how else could you hope to compete?" Void countered. "The other species in the trials have evolved in environments far more challenging than Earth. Without these enhancements, you wouldn't stand a chance." The logic was sound, but it did little to quell Zora's unease. She was no longer just herself. She had become humanity's ambassador in body, as well as spirit. As their ship approached the trial's location, Zora was introduced to some of her fellow competitors. There was Zixix, a crystalline being that communicated through light pulses; Grok, a massive silicon-based life form with incredible strength; and Ela, an energy being that could phase through solid matter. Each alien regarded Zora with a mixture of curiosity and dismissal. Humans were newcomers to the galactic stage, after all, and few expected much from Earth's champion. During a shared meal, a surreal experience given the diverse nutritional needs of the group, Zora found herself drawn into conversation with Ela. The energy being's voice hummed in the air around them, creating an oddly soothing effect. "Tell me, Earth Dweller," Ela said, "what drives your species to reach for the stars?" "Many worlds are content with their own boundaries." Zora considered the question carefully. "Curiosity, I suppose. A desire to understand our place in the universe. And necessity. Our world is facing challenges that we hope the Confederation might help us overcome." Ela's form flickered thoughtfully. "Noble goals. But be warned, the trials will test more than your physical and mental capabilities. They will challenge the very core of what makes you, you." Before Zora could press for more information, alarms blared throughout the ship. Void's voice echoed through the corridors. "Attention all participants. We are under attack. This is not a drill. Report to your designated safe zones immediately." Chaos erupted as the ship rocked violently. Zora's enhanced reflexes kicked in, allowing her to maintain her balance as she sprinted towards her assigned area. Through the viewports, she caught glimpses of sleek, predatory ships firing upon their vessel. "What's happening?" Zora shouted to Void as she reached the safe zone. "Pirates," Void replied grimly. "Marauders who prey on ships in this sector. They're after the advanced technology aboard." Zora's mind raced. This wasn't part of the training, but it was exactly the kind of unexpected challenge the trials were meant to prepare them for. "We need to fight back," she declared. "I have combat experience. Let me help." Void seemed to hesitate for a moment before nodding. "Very well, Commander. Show us what humanity can do in a crisis." What followed was a frantic battle that pushed Zara to her limits. She found herself at the helm of an alien defense system, coordinating with her fellow competitors to repel the attack. Her enhanced mind processed information at incredible speeds, allowing her to anticipate the pirates' moves and counter them effectively. In the heat of battle, something extraordinary happened. The beings who had regarded each other with suspicion just hours before now worked in perfect harmony. Zixix used its crystalline body to refract energy beams, amplifying their power. Grok's immense strength stabilized damaged sections of the ship. Ela phased through walls to make rapid repairs. And at the center of it all was Zora, her voice calm and authoritative as she directed their efforts. For a brief, shining moment, she wasn't just Earth's champion. She was a leader of a diverse, interstellar crew. As the last pirate ship retreated, a cheer went up from the assembled aliens. Zara found herself surrounded by her fellow competitors, receiving praise and gratitude for her quick thinking and leadership. Void approached, its shadowy form seemed to radiate approval. "Well done, Commander Chen. You've not only proven your own worth, but demonstrated humanity's potential as well. This bodes well for the trials ahead." Zara nodded, still catching her breath. The battle had been harrowing, but it had also been exhilarating. For the first time since leaving Earth, she felt truly alive, truly purposeful. As the ship resumed its journey, now battered but unbroken, Zara gazed out at the star-filled expanse before them. The trials still loomed, full of unknown challenges and dangers. But now she faced them not just as Earth's representative, but as someone who had earned the respect of beings from across the galaxy. The true test was yet to come, but Zara Chen, the cosmic underdog from a young species on a small blue planet, had taken her first steps towards proving humanity's place among the stars. Little did she know that the pirate attack was just a taste of the challenges that awaited her, and that her greatest trial would come not from the Confederation's tests, but from a choice that would shake the very foundations of the galactic order. The first trials. The massive space station that housed the cosmic trials loomed before them, a sprawling construct of gleaming metal and pulsing energy fields. As their ship docked, Zara felt a mix of anticipation and dread settle in her stomach. This was it, the moment humanity's fate would begin to be decided. "Remember," Void said as they disembarked, "the trials are as much about how you face challenges as they are about overcoming them. The Confederation values adaptability and innovation as much as raw power or intelligence." Zara nodded, taking in the bustling alien crowd around her. Beings of all shapes, sizes, and compositions hurried about, a dizzying array of galactic diversity. She couldn't help but feel small among them, a sentiment quickly pushed aside. She was here to prove humanity's worth after all. The opening ceremony was a spectacle unlike anything Zara had ever witnessed. Holographic displays showcased the history of the trials, depicting past champions and their feats. As Earth's representative was announced, Zara felt countless alien eyes turn to her. Some were curious, others dismissive, but all were evaluating. "Let the 527th Cosmic Trials begin." The announcer's voice boomed across the station, and with that, Zara found herself whisked away to face her first challenge. She stood in a vast, featureless room, its walls a shimmering, mutable surface. Beside her were Grok, the silicon giant, and a new competitor, a gaunt, avian being introduced as Kriax. A disembodied voice explained the challenge. "Before you is a maze that will constantly shift and change. Your goal is to reach the center. You may work together or compete against each other. Begin." The shimmering walls coalesced into a labyrinth of twisting corridors. Zara's enhanced mind quickly began mapping their surroundings, but just as quickly, the paths shifted and changed. Grok immediately charged forward, using brute strength to smash through walls. Kriax took to the air, its keen eyes searching for patterns in the maze's movements. Zara, however, stood still, observing. There was a rhythm to the changes, an underlying logic. Her time on the space station, constantly adapting to microgravity and ever-changing duty rosters, had honed her ability to find order in chaos. "Wait," she called out to her competitors. "There's a pattern. If we work together, we can predict the maze's movements." Kriax landed beside her, skeptical but willing to listen. Gruk, hearing her call, reluctantly lumbered back. What followed was a masterclass in interspecies cooperation. Zara's strategic mind, Kriax's aerial perspective, and Gruk's raw power combined to form an unstoppable team. They navigated the ever-shifting maze with growing confidence, anticipating changes and adapting on the fly. As they reached the center together, a chime sounded, signaling the end of the challenge. The maze dissolved around them, revealing a panel of alien judges observing with interest. "Exceptional," one judge noted. "Few groups manage to discern the underlying pattern, let alone cooperate so effectively." Zara felt a surge of pride, not just for herself, but for the alliance they'd formed. It was a small victory, but a significant one. Humanity had proven it could not only compete, but lead in a cosmic arena. The following days brought a whirlwind of challenges, each more demanding than the last. Zara found her enhanced physiology and quick thinking tested to their limits. One trial required her to navigate an asteroid field in a spacecraft she'd never piloted before, relying on instinct and her ability to quickly interpret alien technology. Another saw her engaged in a battle of wits with the sentient eye, a test of logic and creative problem-solving that pushed her enhanced mind to its breaking point. But it was the third major trial that truly set Zara apart. Competitors were tasked with stabilizing a dangerously unstable star, preventing it from going supernova and destroying a nearby inhabited planet. As the other competitors argued over complex technological solutions, Zara's mind flashed back to her days in Earth's fledgling space program. She remembered a theory, considered fringe at the time, about using controlled gravitational waves to influence stellar behavior. "We don't need to stop the star's collapse," she announced, her voice cutting through the debate. "We need to guide it." What followed was a daring plan that combined the unique abilities of multiple species. Zara coordinated their efforts, using Ela's energy manipulation, Zixix's crystalline refraction properties, and the raw power of several other competitors to generate a precise gravitational wave. The result was spectacular. The star's violent pulsations gradually calmed, settling into a stable state that would last for millions of years. The inhabited planet was saved, and Zara's unorthodox solution had just set a new benchmark in the trials. As the days wore on, Zara found herself gaining not just the respect of her fellow competitors, but their friendship as well. Late-night strategy sessions turned into exchanges of cultural knowledge. She taught Ela about Earth's diverse ecosystems, while Grok shared the silicon-based poetry of his homeworld. But amidst these triumphs, a note of discord began to creep in. Zara couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the trials than met the eye. Cryptic comments from the judges, fleeting expressions of concern from Void. It all hinted at some greater purpose or hidden agenda. Her suspicions were confirmed one night when she overheard a heated argument between two alien officials. "The human is performing too well," one hissed. "If this continues, we may have to implement contingency measures." "Agreed," the other replied. "We cannot risk the balance of power shifting. The hegemony must be preserved." Zara's blood ran cold. The hegemony? Contingency measures. What was really at stake in these trials? As she slipped away, her mind racing, Zara realized that the true challenge was only just beginning. It wasn't just humanity's place in the stars that was at risk. It was the very nature of galactic society itself. With renewed determination, Zara prepared for the trials ahead. But now she was playing a deeper game. She would uncover the truth behind the cosmic trials, no matter the cost. The fate of Earth, and perhaps the entire galaxy, depended on it. As Zara lay in her quarters that night, sleep eluding her, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was standing on the precipice of something monumental. The final stages of the trials loomed, and with them, Revelations that would change everything she thought she knew about the universe and humanity's place in it. The final test. The air in the station hummed with tension as the remaining competitors gathered for the announcement of the final trial. Zara stood among them, her posture rigid, mind racing with the implications of what she'd overheard. She scanned the faces of her fellow contestants, wondering if any of them suspected the true nature of these games. The head judge, a towering, multi-limbed being named Arkson, addressed the assembled group. Congratulations on making it this far. The final trial will test not just your abilities, but your judgment and character as well. It is not a test to be taken lightly. Zara's eyes narrowed. There was something in Arkson's tone, a weight to his words that sent a chill down her spine. You will be divided into teams, Arkson continued. Your objective is to colonize and establish a thriving society on a previously uninhabited planet. You will have access to advanced technology and resources. The team that creates the most successful and sustainable civilization within the given time frame will be declared the victor. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. This was unlike any challenge they'd faced before. Zara found herself grouped with Ela, Gruck, and a new competitor, a hive-mind fungal entity called Mycos. As they boarded the ship that would take them to their assigned planet, Zara's mind was working overtime. This wasn't just a test of their ability to build a society, it was a test of their values, their vision for the future. And given what she'd overheard about the hegemony, she suspected there was even more at stake. Their planet was a azure-hued world with twin moons, its surface a mix of vast oceans and archipelagos. As they began their work, Zara was struck by how seamlessly their team cooperated. Ela's energy manipulation helped them tap into the planet's geothermal power. Gruck's strength and knowledge of silicon-based life proved invaluable in construction. Mycos' hivemind allowed for incredibly efficient resource management and communication. And Zara, she found herself in the role she was born for. A leader, a visionary, guiding their efforts with a steady hand and an eye toward long-term sustainability. Weeks passed in a blur of activity. Cities rose from the virgin soil, farms spread across fertile islands, and a fledgling spaceport promised connection to the stars. Their civilization was thriving, a harmonious blend of their diverse backgrounds and abilities. But as the end of the trial approached, Zara's unease grew. Their success felt too easy. The resources provided were too convenient, the challenges too neatly overcome. It was as if they were being guided toward a specific outcome. On the eve of the final evaluation, Zara couldn't shake her suspicions any longer. She gathered her team, her friends, and shared her concerns. I think there's more to this trial than we've been told, she said, her voice low. I overheard something about a hegemony and contingency measures. I believe we're being tested for more than just our ability to build a society. Ela's energy form flickered with concern. What are you suggesting, Zara? I think, Zara said slowly, that this is a test of our willingness to conform to an existing power structure. The hegemony, whatever it is, wants to ensure that any new species added to the Confederation won't upset the balance. Grok rumbled thoughtfully. So our success might be seen as a threat, Zara finished. Mycos, its fungal network pulsing, added, we have sensed undercurrents of deception. Your theory aligns with our observations. As they discussed the implications, a realization dawned on Zara. The final evaluation. It's not just about our planet. It's about how we react when we learn the truth. The next day, as expected, they were confronted with a twist. Arkson himself arrived, announcing that their planet was needed for the greater good of the Confederation. They were ordered to evacuate, abandoning the world they'd built. The other teams, faced with the same demand, reluctantly complied. But Zara and her team stood firm. No, Zara declared, her voice ringing out across the assembled judges and competitors. We will not abandon this world or its people. Arkson's many eyes blinked in surprise. You dare defy the will of the Confederation. We dare to question it, Zara countered. A true galactic community should be built on cooperation and mutual respect, not subjugation and hidden agendas. Your hegemony fears change, fears the potential of new species to upset your carefully maintained balance of power. But that fear will only lead to stagnation. A hush fell over the gathering. Zora pressed on, her words carrying the weight of conviction. Humanity, and every species here, has something unique to offer. Our strength lies not in conformity, but in diversity, in our ability to adapt, to innovate, to see problems from new angles. You claim to value these traits in your trials, but you fear them in practice. Ela stepped forward, its energy form blazing bright. We stand with Earth. Our civilization here is proof of what can be achieved when different species work together as equals. Grok's massive form loomed behind them. We will not be pawns in your game. Myco's spores swirled in agreement. The old ways must evolve. We are the catalyst for that change. As Zara looked out at the faces of the other competitors, she saw confusion give way to understanding, then to determination. One by one, they moved to stand with her team. Arxon's form seemed to deflate. You realize what you're doing. This defiance, it changes everything. Zara nodded, a grim smile on her face. That's exactly the point. As the judges conferred in hurried, agitated tones, Zara felt a mix of terror and exhilaration. She had just challenged the very foundations of galactic society. Earth's bid for membership in the Confederation was almost certainly forfeit. But in its place, something new was taking shape, an alliance of species united not by fear or subjugation, but by shared values and a vision for a more equal future. The true test had never been about building a civilization or showcasing their abilities. It had been about having the courage to stand up for what was right, even in the face of overwhelming power. As Arxon approached to deliver the judge's verdict, Zara straightened her shoulders. Whatever came next, she knew that this moment, this stand, would echo across the cosmos for generations to come. The age of the hegemony was ending. A new era of galactic cooperation was about to begin. And humanity, the cosmic underdog, had been the spark to light that fire. Humanity's triumph. The silence that followed Zara's defiant stand was deafening. The vast chamber, filled with beings from across the galaxy, seemed to hold its collective breath. Arxon, the head judge, stood before them, his multiple limbs twitching with nervous energy. In all the cycles of the cosmic trials, Arxon began, his voice echoing through the chamber. Never have we witnessed such audacity. He paused, his compound eyes scanning the united front of competitors. You have broken every protocol, challenged the very foundations of our galactic order. Zara stood firm, feeling the support of her allies around her. She had come to represent Earth, but now she spoke for something greater, a vision of a more just and equal cosmos. The Confederation, Arxon continued, has long operated under the guidance of the hegemony, a system designed to maintain balance, to prevent any one species from dominating the others. But perhaps we have allowed fear to calcify into stagnation. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Zara's heart raced. Was this headed where she dared to hope? Arxon's form seemed to slump slightly, as if a great weight was settling upon him. Your actions here today have forced us to confront an uncomfortable truth, the very traits we claim to value. Adaptability, innovation, courage, are the ones we have come to fear most. He straightened, addressing not just Zara and her team, but all the assembled beings. The judges have conferred, and we have reached a decision. The cosmic trials, as they have existed for millennia, are hereby dissolved. Gasps and exclamations filled the air. Zara felt a moment of panic. Had she gone too far? Had she doomed not just Earth's chances, but those of every species represented here? But Arxon wasn't finished. In their place, we propose a new galactic covenant, one built on the principles you have demonstrated here: cooperation, mutual respect, and the courage to challenge injustice. The hegemony will be dismantled, and a new council formed, with representatives from all member species, including, he fixed his gaze on Zara, Earth. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of reactions: shock, joy, confusion, and everything in between. Zara stood stunned, the magnitude of what had just happened washing over her. Ila's energy form pulsed with excitement beside her. "You did it, Zara. You've changed everything." Grok's gravelly voice rumbled with approval. "A new age begins, one we will shape together." Myko's spores swirled in a pattern Zora had come to recognize as agreement. The collective grows stronger through diversity. This is the way forward. As the implications of Arxon's announcement began to sink in, the atmosphere in the chamber transformed. Former competitors embraced. Ideas and visions for the future were excitedly exchanged. Zara found herself at the center of it all. Beings from across the galaxy seeking her out to offer congratulations or to discuss what came next. In the midst of the celebration, Void appeared at Zara's side. The shadowy being seemed different somehow, more substantial. "Well done, Commander Chen," Void said, a note of pride in its voice. "You've exceeded every expectation we had for humanity's representative." Zara turned to face her former mentor. "You knew, didn't you? About the true nature of the trials, about the hegemony." Void's form rippled in what Zora had come to recognize as amusement. "I had my suspicions, but the outcome, that was all you, Zora. You and the alliances you forged." As the initial excitement began to settle, the enormity of the task ahead became clear. Dismantling millennia of entrenched power structures and building a new, more equitable galactic society would not be easy. But looking around at the diverse beings now working together with newfound purpose, Zara felt a surge of hope. In the days that followed, plans were made, committees formed, and the first steps toward a new era of galactic cooperation were taken. Zara found herself at the forefront of these efforts, her leadership and vision in high demand. But even as she threw herself into the work of reshaping the cosmos, Zara's thoughts often turned to Earth. She had left her home as a reluctant champion, carrying the weight of humanity's future on her shoulders. Now she would return as something more: a diplomat, a visionary, a bridge between Earth and the wider galactic community. The day of her departure arrived all too soon. As Zara prepared to board the ship that would take her home, she found herself surrounded by the friends and allies she had made during the trials. Ila, Grok, and Mykos were there, along with countless others. Each had a word of farewell, a promise to stay in touch, an expression of gratitude for the change she had helped bring about. As she looked out at the assembled beings, Zara felt a swell of emotion. "This isn't an ending," she told them, her voice carrying across the crowd. "It's a beginning. We've taken the first step toward a more just and unified galaxy. Now the real work begins." She boarded the ship, her heart full of mixed emotions: pride in what they had accomplished, excitement for the future, and a touch of sadness at leaving her new friends behind. As the ship broke orbit, Zara gazed out at the star-filled expanse before her. Somewhere out there was Earth, a small blue marble that had seemed so isolated just a few months ago. Now it was poised to take its place in a vast, diverse galactic community. Zara smiled to herself. She had come to the trials to prove humanity's worth, to secure Earth's future among the stars. She had succeeded beyond her wildest dreams, not by conforming to the expected rules, but by staying true to the best of what humanity represented: courage, compassion, and the relentless drive to create a better future. As her ship entered faster-than-light travel, streaking across the cosmos toward home, Zara Chen, once the cosmic underdog, now a catalyst for galactic change, felt a profound sense of peace. The journey ahead would be challenging, full of obstacles and setbacks. But for the first time in perhaps all of history, the species of the galaxy were truly united, ready to face that future together. Humanity had not just earned its place among the stars, it had helped reshape the very nature of galactic society. And this, Zara knew, was only the beginning of an adventure that would span millennia and light years. The cosmic underdog had not just survived, it had thrived, bringing hope and change to the far reaches of the universe. As Earth grew larger in her viewport, Zura smiled. It was time to share the greatest news in human history. We are not alone. And more importantly, we are welcomed.